We're live now. Can I press here and go live? Okay, you're live on YouTube and you're now live on Facebook.
Action. So this is the evening class in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Bhakti Yoga Institute, and we're reading from Sri Guru and His Grace by Sripad Maharaj. And we've read the introduction and the preface, and now we're starting in chapter 1, Surrender to Sri Guru. Even great scholars are perplexed in understanding what is good and what is bad, what to accept and what to dismiss. King karma, king akarmiti, kavayo patra mohita. Even great scholars fail to understand their real necessity. This material world is a jungle of perplexities, where the soul has accepted so many different kinds of bodies in different types of consciousness. In the laws of Manu it is written, Jalaja navalakshani stavara lakshabingshati krimaya rudra sankyaka pakinang dasha lakshanam tingsha lakshani pashava chato lakshani manusha. There are 900,000 kinds of aquatics, 2 million kinds of trees and plants, 1,100,000 kinds of insects and reptiles, 1 million kinds of birds, 3 million kinds of four-legged beasts, and 400,000 kinds of human species. Manu says that the trees are in such a hopeless position as a result of their own karma. Their feelings of pain and pleasure are similar to ours. Their souls are not of a lower standard. Still, they are in such a deplorable position as a result of their own karma. They have no one to blame but themselves. This is the state of affairs in this external world. We are living in an environment which is afflicted with serious misconception, misunderstanding, misguidance, and misbehavior. How are we to ascertain what is good and what is bad, what we should aspire after and what we should reject? Innumerable alternatives have thronged in a crowd coming to influence us. And when this area, covered by illusion and influenced by misunderstanding, is filled with such diversity, how can we hope to know the infinite spiritual world of Vaikuntha? With what attitude should we approach that realm which is transcendental, beyond the realm of the senses and mind, adoksaja? Okay? Any points? So yes, the material world, full of perplexity and many alternatives, what to do, what not to do, what to accept, what to reject. And he's saying because of this huge variety of differences, different species, different bodies, which means different levels of consciousness, species are like, envelopes for the soul. Same soul, different envelope. And according to the envelope, consciousness is different. So how to sort it all out? In another place, Guru Maharaj says, it's a jungle of opinions. Some are coming down through Vedic knowledge, and there's different streams of that. And then others are created empirically in the material world and going up. That rationalistic kind of teachings, like Buddhism and others. Okay, read a bit more, and then the genuine Guru. We must accept any way and any alliance that will help us gain entrance into that realm, Vaikuntha. Yes, we shall try to have even the slightest connection with that perfect goal of our innate aspiration. We are helpless. We are hopeless in the midst of disappointment. We are in extreme danger. We rely on our free will, our capacity of selection for our own good, but it is too minute and helpless to guide us. What danger we are in! All around us are witnesses to this danger. How important is a real guru who can guide us to our real welfare? We are in the midst of different forces that are drawing us, attracting us towards different directions. So proper guidance is the most valuable and the most important thing for all of us. If we accept direction from anywhere and everywhere, we will be misguided. Therefore, we must be careful to get proper direction. That direction has been given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. The verse you're going to say? Yes. 434. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanastat pradarshana. To understand transcendental knowledge, you must approach a self-realized soul, accept him as your spiritual master, and take initiation from him. Inquire submissively and render service to him. Self-realized souls can impart knowledge to you, for they have seen the truth. Here, Krishna has given us the standard by which we can understand what is what from a bona fide source. The standard to measure truth or untruth must come not from a vitiated, vulnerable plane, but from a real plane. And to realize that, we must have these three qualifications: pranipat, pariprashna, and seva. Pranipat means we must surrender to this knowledge, for it is not an ordinary class of knowledge which, as a subject, we can make our object. It is super-subjective. We may be the subjects in this mundane world, but we will have to become objects to be handled by the super-knowledge of that plane. So, there's many things we can say about that. Approaching in this pranipat, pranipat, to surrender, to go flat, and pariprashna, to inquire, and seva, to serve. But the inquiry must be of the right kind. So in other words, the motivation for the inquiry mustn't be challenging. Well, let me hear your opinion, and then I'll contest that, because I think mine could be better. And then, or that approaching to get some knowledge, and then to utilize that for some other purpose, not for seva, in other words. Karma, jnana, yoga, etc. So how to inquire is also important, and then seva. Pranipat means that one approaches a spiritual master saying, I am finished with the experience of this external world. I have no charm for anything in this plane where I have already travelled. Now I am offering myself exclusively at your altar. I want to have your grace. In this mood, we should approach that higher knowledge. In our place, Guru Maharaj says, we should come with our bed and baggage. So it's not like going to the Guru and it's some kind of like some kind of an exchange, a deal, like you give something, I give something. I've been doing the what hopefully in the future should be a book of Sripad Maharaj's talks, and there he quotes a verse. I think it's could be Manu Samhita, but it's saying when the disciple will come with the firewood in his hand for the yajna. So he's not like, well, I'll come, I'll get something, but you can arrange everything, do the yajna, get everything. He comes with everything for full surrender. So not bringing any baggage, of his own baggage, to the table. Pariprashna means honest, sincere inquiry. We must inquire not with the tendency of discussion or in the mood of argument, but all our efforts should be concentrated in a positive line to understand the truth without the spirit of doubt and suspicion. With full attention, we should try to understand that truth, because it is coming from a higher plane of reality that we have never known. So before accepting such a spiritual master, one is completely within their rights to, quote unquote, examine them, in the sense of, by humble inquiry, to see what they say. One has to think, are they genuine or not? What are they? And we may not be able to fully understand that also, because we don't ourselves have the qualification to understand fully what is genuine or what is not. As he said before, our soul is very minute and very much subject to illusion. So with prayer, we approach and we pray that the Lord within our heart will please reveal to us, make it known to us, is this the genuine person to whom I should be coming for my entire spiritual future? Let me say, Satguru, eternal Guru. Yeah. Finally, there is seva, service. This is the most important thing. We're trying to gain this knowledge not so we can get the help of that plane, not so we can utilize that experience for living here. Rather, we must give our pledge to serve that plane. Only with this attitude may we approach that plane of knowledge. We shall serve that higher knowledge. We won't try to make it serve us. Otherwise, we won't be allowed to enter into that domain. Absolute knowledge won't come to serve this lower plane. We must offer ourselves to be used by him, not that we shall try to use him in our own selfish way to satisfy our lower purpose. With the mood of service, we shall dedicate ourselves to him. Him is Krishna, capital H, the Lord. Not that he will dedicate himself to satisfy our lower animal purpose. So with this attitude, we shall seek the plane of real knowledge and receive the standard understanding. And then we can know what is what and have a proper estimation of our environment. Okay, this is Vedic culture. Absolute knowledge has always been imparted by this process and never by the intellectual approach. Maybe we should discuss that, or perhaps you want to take turns reading, or... It's okay, it's okay. Okay, just interrupt me if it's... Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta, used to give the analogy of the bee. Honey is in a bottle, the cork is in place, and the bee has taken his seat on the glass. He tries to taste the honey by licking the bottle. But just as the bee cannot taste the honey by licking the outside of the glass bottle, the intellect cannot approach the world of spirit. We may think that we have attained it, but that is not possible. A barrier is there, like the glass. Intellectual achievement is not real achievement of higher knowledge. Only through faith, sincerity, and dedication can we approach that higher realm and become a member. We can enter that higher plane only if they grant us a visa and admit us. Then we can enter that land of divine living. Prabhu, you couldn't pass me that Chaitanya Charitamrita, could you, on the top there? I want to get a verse. I saw this verse the other day and it was very good. It was very good. They're all very good. I think it's in Leela 16. Sort of on this topic, really. Oh, that's not. 16:11 or 11:16. Sorry. You know that verse? Perhaps you know it. Bahu Shastre, Bahu Vakye, who reads many scriptures or hears many opinions about things, Chitte brahme means they will become confused. See if I can- Sorry, bear with me.
There is an index, you know. In the
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's the first line.
Yeah, okay, all the
Be
verses.
careful, there's a few indexes, so. find
Yeah,
it.
you want the verse index.
Yeah, the verse, Bengali verse index.
Oh, that should be easy then. No, it's good, I wrote it down. Oh. Well, I'm not finding it anyway, but it's saying that Bahu Shastra, who studies many scriptures, like Srila Guru Maharaj said, we don't need to read a Ganges full of scriptures. Just those in the lineage of the pure devotional line, or hear many different opinions from different people. Brahme means, actually, it gives, in the verse, the translation is given as doubt, but Brahme literally means illusion. It's four things from which the conditioned soul suffers, which make it impossible for him to understand the absolute truth except through the receiving it, through what we're saying here, in that way. Mistakes, we're making mistakes, and illusion, subject to illusion at every step, and imperfection of the senses, and cheating propensity. Cheating means presenting something as knowledge or truth when it either isn't, or we don't know it is, or we're not sure it is. Speculating. So those four things. So Brahma means illusion. So very easy for us to be an illusion. Perception, yeah, perception is. So when we say, I've been thinking, last time I was here, we were mentioning about, those who say relativism. Relativism. Your idea about God or the absolute, my idea is just, or could be just as good as that. So many people, so many different truths. That's fine. But then truth has to also be informed by knowledge, by background of knowledge. And I was giving the example of that the microphone here, is created with a certain particular purpose, right, to amplify the voice and so forth. But just on perception alone, someone might say they take the microphone and they're crushing nuts, breaking nuts to make, peanut butter. That could be used for that. That's not wrong. It's not wrong, but it's not the correct use. The thing for which it was created. Someone else might use it for stirring the pot, or so many things. So perception must be informed by the established knowledge that's come down from that realm, for which we don't have access to in our normal facilities. So our perception, it needs to be guided, guided by truth. In the Catholic line, they talk about having an informed conscience. So if my conscience says something and your conscience says something else, what is to say that yours is any better than mine? What's telling me? If it's just that alone, but the conscience must be informed, must be guided, must be trained, must be educated. Yes? So that's also important. It's not an easy one to get the right way here, the right balance of things. And that means to say, to utilize what we've been given, our intelligence, God-given intelligence, buddhi yoga, but to place ourselves in a position of being guided, being mentored by higher truth for that. Yes? Yeah. So we were saying about seva. Okay, about seva. So they're doing the seva to dedicate ourselves, not to satisfy our lower animal purpose. Vedic. This is Vedic culture. Yes, only through faith, sincerity and dedication can we approach that higher realm and become a member. We can enter that higher plane only if they grant us a visa and admit us. Then we can enter that land of divine living. So that is very, very important point, that, because this example, which Srila Guru Maharaj elucidates more completely elsewhere, and he's saying about the passport and the visa. So to actually enter the land of Vaikuntha, where we want to enter Vaikuntha Golok, visa is necessary. But the passport can take you from the world of exploitation into the plane of renunciation, the Tatashta region. Can take you completely out of the plane of exploitation, birth, old age, disease, death, suffering of every kind, into the plane of deep shanti, shanti, shanti. That for that you only need a passport, and a passport is relatively easy to get. For example, you do the right things, you pay some fee, you fill out some form, go to the embassy. Normally speaking, all other things being equal, they will give you the passport. But the visa is not so easy. So with the passport, you can go, you say from London, you can go to, let's say, Delhi, as an example. So then you can think that you're in India, but you're not actually in India until you've crossed the immigration. Yes? You may be sort of on the soil of India, as it were, but until and unless you've been given permission by way of the visa to enter into India proper, then you can't experience anything about what is India, etc. So, and the difference is that the passport, by your own effort, you can more or less do it. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, because without the Lord's grace, not even a blade of grass, right, can move. Okay, we talk about general grace and special grace. So that's more like the general grace, the blessing of creation, God's first word, material creation. Then the special grace that's given specifically, Sukriti. So the difference is that you can get the visa, the passport rather, from this side, from the side where we are. You go to an embassy in London or whatever country you're in, they have an embassy representing that country of India in every other country. So you can go there and you can get that. But the visa, no, that's granted from that side, not from this side. Yes? So that's more difficult. And then it's their choice to give or not give. We don't really have any say in that. So the intellect cannot enter there. But the heart, by the action of the heart, the submission and love and dedication and feeling of need and desperation and prayer to give oneself in service there, that is, if you like to say, what we need to have to get the visa, because that will touch their heart, that will affect them, that will elicit their sympathy towards us, and then they will grant the visa. Oh, this one, let them in. Yeah. Otherwise, if everybody, just by their passport, you can go there, there could be many criminals, assassins, many people with many different agendas to go there. But that plane is an inviolable plane. This devotee, he wrote a book called Not a Leaf Can Fall from Vaikuntha, and he got ousted from ISKCON, that book. Yeah, this issue, it's been going on a long time, but we know it's pretty clear from Guru Maharaj's teachings, and if you read carefully the different explanations about it by so many acharyas. Yes, the Vaikuntha Golok, it's an inviolate plane. It's not, you can't fall from there. No. If it was so, then it would just be another plane, just like going up to the Svargalok, Chine Punye Marchalokam Vishanti, stay for some time, use up your good karma, and then go down again. It's not like that. Those who are there are already vetted. They're already vetted. They're already 100% surrendered. They've crossed that line. They've, So Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Antadana. Where there's Krishna like the sun, where there's the sun, there's no darkness. So how can there be darkness there? The darkness of the covering of illusion to cover the soul and make the soul fall down. That's not. So this is the plane that we want to go, to enter into, actually, and so not such a maybe such an easy thing or such a cheap thing. Just, but Guru Maharaj is giving a lot of encouragement about that. He's saying, look, it doesn't matter if you have a little bit connection with the soil, even with the soil of that plane. Not like you have to be, like he says, you don't have to be a Hanuman or an Alexander, great person. See, every soul there, every entity there, even just the piece of dust or the earth or a small tiny plant, they're just not. There's actually, we'll say, Krishna conscious, fully Krishna conscious. They're in super consciousness, we may say. That's the Paramatma world, and beyond that also. So that's existing in a plane beyond our own soul. So our own soul, every speck of dust there is in a higher level of consciousness, Sat Chit Anand, than our own soul here. You see? So, as the Guru Maharaj says, there we're walking on our head, not on our feet. Can't walk on your feet there because everyone is above us. Everyone is like Guru, like a loving guardian, helping us. Every soul there is helping us, wants to push us towards Krishna, keep themselves in the back and push the others forward. Just the opposite to here, right? Everyone's trying to push themselves in the front, push the others back. How horrible is that? It's the world we've been condemned to, because of our stupid mistake. And so we think that's very difficult, really, to make such a reverse of so many lifetimes in the material world to go back, but it's possible by grace. One time a devotee asked the Srila Maharaj, because they'd heard how Srila Prabhupada had said to encourage the devotees, chant 16 rounds a day, follow the four regulations, you will go back to Krishna in this lifetime. The Jai Prabhupada. And he asked Guru Maharaj, and he paused for a moment, and he sort of chuckled a bit. He said, not so easy in one lifetime to go back. But then he said, but not impossible. The grace of the infinite is also infinite. So that's what we're relying on. That's what we, praying for. So infinite fallenness will elicit infinite grace. Yeah, where St. Paul says, where sin is great, grace abounds. So Mahaprabhu has come to save the most fallen, Patit Pavan. So we do believe in that the teaching about grace, mercy, prasad, and mercy. So it's not just a rationalistic philosophy. It all makes sense. It's very logical. It all fits together. The Sambandha is so wonderful and so perfect of Mahaprabhu's in teaching to Sanatana Goswami in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There you'll find everything from A to Z of Krishna and his energies, essentially. The Maya Shakti, the Jiva Shakti, and the different avatars, Krishna's expansions, Prakash, Vilas, etc., and how everything is fitting together in the organic whole. It's an organic whole. And we're part and parcel of the organic whole. So to find our place in the organic whole. And it begins with finding the teacher, right, the master. And Guru Maharaj says before that, the soul is roaming randomly, more or less, within nature, within these species. He said, just like a football under the kick. Someone kicks it, it's like here, oh, then it's going here, and then over there. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's just going around. But then when the football is going near to the goal, the mouth of the goal, to go in the goal, then it's, getting serious. So to find a teacher that can take you to that goal, and then if we find that, then to again go away, that's very bad. That's like the football is shooting towards the goal, and yes, it's a goal, it's got, and it's off, So close, no? So Rupa Goswami, in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where he gives the 64 items of devotional service, and the very first one is find a guru and take initiation, and that is... Now, it's not to say the mercy of the Lord is infinite, and there's no bar or barrier to that. Lightning can strike anybody, anywhere, anytime, like that. But there is a channel which has been created by the Lord himself. As he says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, I gave this knowledge to the sun god and it was passed down from him. And now again I'm giving that to you because it has become dissipated due to eons and eons of time in the material world. So again, that same knowledge I'm giving to you. So that's called Guru Parampara. So that's the creation of the Lord himself, the standard means or method by which transcendental knowledge is given and revealed. So that's like, the electricity is there. Yes, that can come anywhere, like lightning, to randomly hit a tree in the middle of a field, of course. But normally you have a system, don't you? You have the wires, like you have the earth on the top of the church or something. So that's called the earth. Yeah. So that is the medium through which the current is carried, is passed. This is a Guru Parampara. See? So he says, though no formality is necessary, no prasthita, no particular preparation, purification, mercy of Krishna and the holy name of Krishna can come to anyone. But at the same time, Diksha is most important, first item of importance. So that's one of your paradoxes in Christian consciousness. And there's many, many more. At every step, achinta bhed abhed. Everything has something in common and something different from everything else. So, I'd like to read, talk about it. Otherwise, I'll just carry on if you want. It's only 15 minutes anyway. Yeah, so as Meister Eckhart said back in the 13th century, God can be captured by love, but by intellect never. And that's a very special thing, that with the human being as the heart, and so it's the brain and the heart, yes. The extreme example of that, a very wonderful example, of course, is Krishna being captured by Mother Yashoda. Yes? So, Krishna, in other words, allowing himself to be captured, seeing her intense, desperate mood of to serve him in that way as a mother, and then allowing himself to be captured. So you can say that's kind of like, you might say that's like the trade secret of our line, our life, Krishna consciousness, in the Bhakti school, is about that. Whereas, many teachings, rationalistic teachings, based on reason alone, and the reason and the logic is very good. It's all very good. It fits together in its own internal logical system. But without that element of grace, you're only going to go to the Tatashta at the most, the Brahman conception, not to the world of seva or service. So a candidate must have these three qualifications, submission, inquiry and service, before he can approach the truth, which is on the higher plane of absolute reality. He can approach the absolute truth only with an attitude of humility, sincerity and dedication. Then there are similar statements in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Vedas. In the Upanishads, Tadviganatang sagurum evabhikachet samit panishtotiyang brahmanishtam. Approach a spiritual master. Don't go to him hesitatingly or haphazardly, but with a clear and earnest heart. One should not approach the spiritual master cutting a return ticket. Our Srila Prabhupada used to always say, you have come here cutting a return ticket. So keeping something in the back. Well, if it doesn't work out, I can always do the other thing or try something else. Or and there's that story, isn't it, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, I think it was on his appearance, Avirbhav, birthday, I think, and then so many people had come to the mart there. I think it was probably Bhag Bazaar Mart in Kolkata, and they were, with their families and big celebration, Maha Mahotsav, and that was very difficult for him also to sit there as, the guru, and he said, you are all my friends. Amar Bandhugan, you are my family of friends, because you're helping me. I'm unfit for service of my Guru and Krishna, but you're coming to help me with that. So I think you are all my friends. He's been very humble like that. Anyway, so after the festival, they're all going away to their homes and houses and other places, and he's sitting there, and he said, what are you doing? Where are you going? And he said, oh, Maharaj, we'll be back very soon. We just have to go and do some household affairs and sort some things out. Then we'll come back. No, you've come here for service of Krishna. You can't go away. Even if your house is burning, let it burn to the ground. Let it be a house of ash. That'll be a benefit for you. All these things are just distracting you from the service of Krishna. Very intense, very, very absolutist in his views. The Gaudiya Math has come to declare war, not just against Maya, but against all other existing conceptions of religion. Huh? So like that, he's moved. So not cutting a return ticket. Rather, we should think that we have seen everything, that we have full experience of this mortal world, and that we have nothing to aspire after here. With this clear consciousness, we should approach the Guru. That is the only way for us to live. This world is mortal. There's no means, no possibility of living here. And yet the will to live is an innate tendency everywhere. So this is very interesting, because it's not like one, prostrates before the Guru. That's it. Game over. Like Srila Govinda said, not surrender and lie down, That means just lie there and we're to surrender and serve, So we may say, yes, we surrender Sri Guru, but we still have so many material desires in our heart, right? So it said, if there is a karma, desire for fruitive work and for self-enjoyment, and then if there is a desire for renunciation, elevation through spiritual practices and consciousness and yoga, if those two witches, Pisachi means a witch, they're haunting the heart, how will the beautiful goddess of Bhakti, Bhakti Devi, how will she sit there? She can only come in a very clean and pristine, beautiful place, right? So these things, they may still be in our heart, even after we surrender to Sri Gurudev, right? Because if we say, well, I have to wait till that's all gone, then only I can become devotee, surrender, take initiation. No. So that verse in Prapandi Jivanamritam comes to our relief, that though the mind and the senses are still wandering somewhat within the world of sense enjoyment and all these things, but one feels the pain of that, because one knows that only leads to misery. And if one's inner aspiration fundamentally is to love and serve the Lord, Hari Guru Vaishnava, that's the main thing. And of course, as we do try to surrender and practice, we will become more and more aware of those anarthas within ourselves. Because they will show up, like the ink spots on a white sheet. The whiter this thing, the whiter the light, the more you see the spots, isn't it? Yeah. So that'll be a cause of also a problem to us. But we're supposed to constantly work to remove those weeds, and which will come up. They'll try to choke the creeper, the very tender creeper of bhakti, which is very, very immature. It's very small and weak. So that at that time it can very easily be either withered. If the weeds will take the nourishment that's meant for the plant of bhakti, it can wither, or it can be crushed, or it can be many things. Like the example of Jesus he gave about the sower went to sow. It's the same example. And when he cast the seed very widely. He was very generous in his distribution. But sometimes some of the seed fell on the stony ground, not even in the field. So of course there was no soil there. So that just died under the sun. That means that the person has no sukriti. They're not ready. They're stony soil. And then the other one, it went in the soil, but just on the edge. And the soil was very thin, not very deep. So it grew a little bit. The root came out, but it couldn't get any purchase in the soil. It wasn't deep enough. So the plant withered then. And then the other one, it fell in the very good soil, and it produced the harvest 100-fold and 1,000-fold. Yeah. So we have to protect this creeper. It's called, our faith in the beginning is not very strong. Some faith is there, but it's komala shraddha, it's weak. So it has to be protected, like you'll fence your little plant when you put a fence around, protect it, wild animals. You very carefully every day put the water, some fertilizer, tend to it, to cultivate it. So it's called the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. And to pull out those weeds, you become aware of these things, and the anti-bhakti things. If it's favourable to Krishna consciousness, even it may not be directly in the purest line or way of Krishna, but if it's not unfavourable, at least, then that's not so bad. But we really want to anyabilasita shunyam, jnana karma anabritam. Everything really comes under the category of karma and jnana, isn't it? That's not bhakti, to different degrees. So just to be aware of that. But we talk about dovetailing also. So in our very conditioned low state, we have to dovetail our desires in the service of the Lord. Because even if we were presented with, this is pure devotional service, this is Ananya Bhakti, in our present stage we couldn't do it. It'd be like saying someone who's over here and the sun is there, the sun's very, very powerful, and pushing the person, right? You go very close to the sun, they'll be atomized or dissolved or melted. Or so gradually, it's a gradual process, gradually growing and growing. Our inner body, spiritual body, growing, maturing from a seed, coming out, strengthening, getting nourishment, growing towards relationship with Krishna. So, because ultimately that relationship has to be the same in the spiritual world. They have the same similar body. Satchit and Ananda, same quality. Even in Vaikuntha, they have the same form as the Lord, or the same opulence. Same means similar, very similar. If you looked at it, you'd think it's the same. Like Gopakumar, he saw those residents of Vaikuntha, forearms, so beautiful, their ornaments and their everything. And he's thinking, each one is thinking, this is the Lord. He's bowing down. Oh, Lord, you've come. No, this is... And then the next one come even more opulent and more. And this is definitely the Lord, and he's bowing down. And then he met then the Lord himself. And when he was taken in to see Lord Narayan, and Lord Narayan is with Lakshmi Devi, and Narad is there singing and dancing. They're having a kind of a little bit of a soiree, nice time. And you have all the attendants there, the Vishnu people. But when Gopi Kumar came in, he saw the form of the Lord Narayan, also extremely beautiful. We read in the 3rd canto Srimad Bhagavatam how the yogi meditates on the form of the Lord within the heart, from the lotus feet, going up the calves, the thighs, the waist, the chest, the face. So beautiful, so beautiful. So he's seeing Lord Narayan. He's Gopal, it's me, I've come, And he's running towards and to embrace. And then the Vishnu people said, no, you can't do that. This is Lord Narayan, they sort of like arrested him, And Narad, he understood the situation. He said, no, he's just, everything was arranged nicely. And he stayed there for some time, and he was enjoying like anything, because he was getting so much nourishment from the association of the Lord and his associates. But still there was that thing deep inside his heart, not quite something, doesn't have the beauty of my Lord with his flute and his bugle and his peacock feather and his things, and his different things, and that was hurting him. And ultimately he went on, and his journey continued till he met the Lord. So it's a beginning. Or when we say initiation, means to initiate, to begin. It's just the beginning, And it's better to progress, 5% or 10% in the right line, in the right way, in the proper way, than to go, a long way and then go off, That would be a loss. Of course, there's no ultimate loss, because Svapamapyasya dharma said trayate mahato bhayat. Whatever devotional service is done is permanent. So again, that will be when the soul will get the opportunity to take that up in the future again, even if they leave. Only thing, if they do aparad, that can be dangerous. That can be very detrimental, because it can actually cut or uproot the plant of devotion. So that's our most precious asset, isn't it? People think, oh, my asset, is my bank account, my stocks and shares, or cars in the garage, or paintings on the wall, or something. But our precious asset is this bhakti seed, this inner life, our inner life, and it belongs to Krishna. Initiation means I belong to you. It's not I'm coming to you for something, so you can give me something, then I can go on and make a success of my life, in whatever way that may be. No, I'm coming to you, I'm yours. Amito tamar, tu mito amar. It's like that, Bhakti says. I'm yours, you are mine. This is our relationship. Anyway, so good to finish. Sorry. Hare Krishna. Who's chanting the evening prayers? I don't. Oh, Hare Krishna. Now we've scared most of the people away, so it's time to finish. It's time to finish. What page is it? 62. Huh? Please, John, yeah. You want to pray, yeah? Okay. Hari Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadvaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namo. Yadvaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namo. Gopal Govinda Rama Shri Marichi Ram. Giridhari Govinda Namo. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Dhara Dhara Shiva Shakti Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Mata Raguna. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna. Hey Jai Kochai Tori Charana Panda. Jai Devi Nanak Avishta Puran. Hey Jai Kochai Jai Dharana. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki
Jai.
Kantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai.
Jai.
Sripad Guru Varga ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Vinda ki Jai. Bhakti Vinashan Bhagavan Shingadev Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai. Veda Bhakti Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi.
Tridandi Maharaj ki Jai.